Let me just find myself. I couldn't find myself. See, this is what's challenging about being alive. Especially earlier, I was asked to act as if I was annoying. And first of all, what is annoying? Because I guess it varies from person to person. Should I keep the hat on? Let's see how the hair looks like without the hat. Yes, I should definitely keep the hat on. Yeah, that's way more cute than the yeah, that's more cute. So I actually just got back from the outside. I was at this filmmaking class today again with different people from last time. So since the camera person is taken already and I don't really want to share, I'm just like, well, I can do the acting bit because there are 2 actors needed in this. There's no one. I thought there was. But even if there was someone, I guess I would just say, and I have to be the annoying person. And I think, and this made me realize that, well, what do I find annoying? I think the concept has expired in my brain because, well, you can tell I have lived long enough. So I guess when you live longer than you expected, certain concepts just die. And part of it was the concept of being annoyed by another person. And I guess I can think of a few reasons for this. For science purposes, let's look at it. Because number one, like I said, I have lived long enough. Maybe some neurons just die or something, and yeah, the concept has died or expired or whatever happens to things when you don't really, I don't know, attend to them. Number two is that I generally find people interesting. I like listening to people and I like being there for people, especially for with my friends when they speak about things, or even just the people I met through work. It so happens sometimes that they have a lot of stories and I'm there anyway, so I'm invested as well on the life that that they're trying to share with me. So while I was doing my work, of course. And so yeah, I'm generally interested. And number 3, wait, where are we? I'm still trying to recover my brain, and also it's periodic brain. So I hope you can be kind with me and patient. Thank you. So number 3, what is it? Wait, we already have the old enough. We already have the number 3 is I have worked in service industries. I am still working in a service industry. And I guess when I was younger, I can remember feeling annoyed by some people. But now, especially when I got to Europe, which was 7 years ago or something, almost 7 years ago, it stopped. It stopped. Yeah, now I remember. Now I remember when it stopped. It stopped when I was here in Europe. And when I got here, because everything was so new and everyone was new. I don't understand them and they look different, everyone. So I was just interested and curious. How do you live your life? How do you think? What kind of stories you have? How do you exist? Why this? Why that? Why everything? And yeah. But before, when I was working in the service industry in the Philippines, I can remember some distinct instances where I felt annoyed by some people. But then, I guess I also got older, and maybe it's a way of the brain to cope, to just drop the concept of being annoyed because it causes stress. So I think my brain solved it on its own. Just, well, what if we just don't get annoyed? I guess in my subconscious, like, why are we even annoyed? Like, can we just drop this or something? I don't know what happened. I guess it's just survival sort of the for the brain to survive. It found a way for it to survive because it happens, like, in the service industry, of course. Again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And then I guess my brain reached a certain limit. I'm like, well, why am I being annoyed? I can just stop. And then it stopped. Or maybe I just moved to Europe. That's the cure. I guess that was the cure. I stopped being annoyed when I moved to Europe. Because everything was fresh and it's like a new beginning of a lifetime. I don't know. So when they were speaking to me, because we did a test sort of shoot, and they tell, well, be annoying, just ramble and ramble on, and I did. But then, and because it was a flatmate situation, so I tried to think of a scenario where where my flatmate could be annoyed by this certain behavior. So I'm like, well, when was the last time we washed these curtains? It looks so dusty by now, and it has a strange smell. In did you throw the trash or something? I can smell something rotten somewhere in this floor. Was something like that. Just complaining about the most random things. And I started to talk about other things, and they said, well, don't make it interesting. Because now, the teacher said, don't make it interesting because now it appears that you are the kind person and this person is the bad one because you're trying to tell a story and he's not listening. You should just ramble on, like be like ramble, you know those, she said, you know those people who just talk and talk and talk and talk, and they don't care whether you're listening or not, and they talk. But then this is also a foreign concept to me, because when someone speaks, for some reason I get absorbed in it. So that's also, that advice also doesn't work for my brain. Because when someone speaks, I just get absorbed, and not only by the story, by also how they react to it, by how they tell it, how their brain jumps from one sentence to another. I get absorbed. So I'm not annoyed because I'm interested. Again, because people are different. They have different ways of telling stories and pacing things, and lives are different. So it's also a challenge for me. And another tip that I got is that, well, this tip came from my teammate. Well, imagine the most boring day you have had and tell that story. This again doesn't work with my brain, this advice. Because, first of all, I'm sorry, I hope this will not offend you, or I hope this is not too weird, because sometimes I feel like it's too weird. I don't get bored. I don't get bored, and I feel like it's a normal thing to get bored. But then, by now, I think you have noticed that I have a lot of abnormalities in this entity. So, for me, it's not surprising anymore. Whatever abnormality I find, because I'm used to it. I've been living with myself for forever. So I don't get bored. I don't get bored in general. Even if I just stay home, or clean the house, or write something, or whatever it is that is the concept of boring for some people. I don't. Because like I said, this is like a melting pot of different dimensions. So even if I was just sitting in the kitchen, you'll never really know where I am. And yeah, I don't get bored as well. Is this a problem? What kind of, maybe some psychologists have answer to this. What kind of, maybe I don't know. I don't. The best way, I guess, that I could tackle this is that if they give me some kind of, because it's hard if you're trying to paint a character with adjectives. I guess for me, at least, I would understand it better with, if they provided me situations, or because if you just say to me, be annoying, be boring, and talk. Be annoying to who? Be boring to who? Because every person has a different concept of what's annoying and what's boring. So I guess I need some kind of, well, there's this character in a TV show, and there's this scenario, or there's this, at least then I could get a general grasp of what they're expecting from me. But then apparently, this is another thing that I thought of. Like, when I realized that that being annoyed is now a foreign concept to me. I'm like, well, if I was alone in the world and there is just one person, would I have this concept of annoying? Is that something that my brain would conclude, hey, that's annoying? Because I may not get annoyed by people, but I do get hurt. That's what I shared to my teammates. I'm breathing through my mouth. I should not do that. I told my teammates that I generally don't get annoyed by people, but I do get hurt a lot. That's what I told them. And also, I don't get annoyed, but I have preferences on who I want to spend time with. I don't get annoyed, but I get put off by some behaviors, or when someone is like showing a vibe of the head to toe stare, or I get put off by that, or something. But annoyed, now that I'm confronted with this, I'm having existential crisis just because of this. But I have to solve this tonight though, because I have a responsibility to my teammates. I said I will act, so I should give justice and do it. But they kind of helped me in a concept of, they said, speak faster, say the most random things. But then I'm like, if I say the most random things, I would say, well, how what do you think the rats are thinking? Or is this door, will it turn into bubble gum if I try to on it? Or how long does it take? If I fall in the building, how long will it take for me to die? Or those things. Because I was also thinking of improvising this. Because I'm supposed to talk all the way through. And I don't think I can memorize that with such little time. All the way through, the moment I entered the scene until it finishes, I should be talking. Because I'm annoying. This. I hope I can give this justice. But yeah, I would like to get an opinion. What's annoying to you? Maybe that will help also with my brainstorming. My own private brainstorming with, yeah. And what do you define as a boring day? What is a boring day to you? Like if someone asked you, what's your most boring day? How would you tell the story? So yeah, I have to get these groceries upstairs because it's actually meat, because there's a lot of meat on sale. So I got them. And salmon also. I shall be back, but not as me.